Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Brame Gym for another edition of Facebook Live. We're glad you can join us this afternoon. My name is Braden Snyder, and today we're joined by the captains of the Gettysburg College men's basketball team. They are, from left to right on your screen, Pete Christ, Tanner Kirkpatrick, and Cody Kiefer. And they will open their season right here in Brame Gym this Tuesday when they take on York College in a non-conference tilt. The Bullets are coming off their winningest season in 7 years after finishing 18-9 last year and reaching the semifinals of the Centennial Conference playoffs a year ago. So welcome, Pete, Tanner, Cody. Thanks for taking your time out this afternoon. And I think we'll begin by talking with senior guard Pete Christ to my immediate left. Pete is a physics major from Pittstown, New Jersey, and Pete has provided the team with one of the most experienced players over the last 3 years, and he leads all current Bullets actually with 77 career games played. He scored over 600 points throughout his career, and he's been one of the team's most outstanding outside shooters. Last year he led the Bullets with 48 three-pointers. He averaged just over 9 points per game. So Pete, the team has been practicing, it's about a month or so now, so you've had a chance to really get to know the team by now. And so I guess just how's the preseason going? What's your first impressions so far?
I think it's going great so far. We got a lot of guys back. We only lost Kevin Gladstone and Matt. But other than that, a lot of guys back, a lot of leadership, a lot of experience. Offense and defensively, we're looking really sharp. A lot of experience out there, like I said. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for us this year.
Well, there's plenty of new faces on the team this year. There's 7 freshmen and a sophomore transfer dotting the roster. So eight of the 16 players on the team are newcomers. From what you've seen of the team so far, what kind of an influence do you think those guys will have on the team this year?
Freshmen are actually looking like really good for us this year. We got a lot of sharpshooters, guys that can run the floor, play some lockdown defense. Danny Duffy's been exceptional for us so far in the scrimmage, as well as the other guys too. But I think they're going to help us out a lot this year, and we're going to be big contributors down the road. So
we wanted to touch a little bit on some things you've done away from basketball. A physics major, as we've mentioned. You were on campus here at Gettysburg College over the summer doing some research. Kind of explained this a little bit to me yesterday. Some of it might have went a little over my head, but it's really interesting, I think, what you're doing, though. So in layman's terms, maybe, can you kind of explain a little bit about what you've been working on?
Of course. So what I'm doing, or what I did this summer, was nuclear structure research. We took our data at the National Superconducting Cyclotron Laboratory at MSU, which is just a large particle accelerator. And basically what I was looking at is a magnesium-32 beam going into a beryllium-9 target and making all these different isotopes. And these isotopes decay extremely quickly, and we're basically studying the fragments before they decay. So there's not much research done on that, so that's, in short, what I was doing this summer.
Well, it's a great opportunity to be here on campus and pick up just some great academic experiences. And so one last question I have for you, Pete. So your grandfather attended Gettysburg College. I would just be curious, how did that affect your decision to come here?
It did a lot, actually. I wasn't really looking into the school at all for a while. And then after one of my games, junior year, he brought over a brochure from Gettysburg, said, I went here, played basketball for a year. So I was just like, check it out, came for a visit, fell in love with the school, and it's been great 4 years. So.
Well, we're certainly glad it's worked out for you, and thanks again for taking your time here this afternoon, and best of luck this season. So we're also joined today by, as he steps up here to the mic, Tanner Kirkpatrick, senior forward, also a physics major and a mathematics minor. He hails from nearby Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Tanner has also been a regular in the Bullets lineup throughout his career. He's appeared in 72 games, made 60 starts, and scored over 700 points wearing the orange and blue. He's coming off a season in which he scored just under 8 points a game, was bouncing back from an early season injury, came back to make an impact. So Welcome, Tanner. Appreciate taking your time out today. And as mentioned previously, it was one of the top seasons the team had in recent years, the winningest season in 7 years, I believe. Coming off such a successful season, can you talk about what some of the goals are, you think, for the team this year?
Sure, yeah. I think that the past 3 years we really competed in this league, and like you said, last year we had a really good season. And our goal, obviously, is to get back to back to that point. And obviously, we want to win that conference championship. We have a really good, hardworking group of guys, and I think this year we can pull it together and get back to that point and win this conference title.
What are some of the keys? Some of the keys you think will be to achieving those goals? Some of the things, the day in, day out type of things you think the team will have to be consistent with this year. What do you think those keys will be for the team this year?
Sure, yeah. I think every day it comes down to us really having that focus and that drive every day in practice, because what we do in practice, we do in games. So that's one really important thing, just to keep this hard work going. I guess kind of strategically during the game, we have a lot of guys, like Pete said, that can shoot the ball and spread the defense and stretch the floor, and our ability to score inside also. We need to make a presence down there so we can have a good balance of scoring inside and out. That'll keep teams pretty honest with us. And then I think at the end of the day, we just got to trust our game and have it go out there, do what we've been taught, and good things are going to happen.
Now, it's not every day that a Division III athlete makes SportsCenter, or really any student athlete for that matter. But you did just that during your freshman year here in Brame Gym. Threw down an emphatic baseline dunk on that hoop right there. Yep. Kind of over a player. It was one of the better dunks I've seen. Can you just talk a little bit about what that experience was like to suddenly see yourself on the worldwide leader?
Yeah. I can't believe that was 4 years ago. That's just one of those moments. I mean, you're never going to forget. That was really special. Not really sure how it happened, but it did, and maybe we'll get Gettysburg back on the map at ESPN.
Yeah, that sure would be great. Now, like Pete, you mentioned you're a physics major.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about maybe what your postgraduate plans might be? Have you been thinking about that much here your senior year?
Yeah. So I'm going to plan right off the bat to head to graduate school. I'm pursuing a dual degree in physics, and then I'm going to try to get my master's in engineering. So that is tentatively the plan for right now.
Well, good luck with your academic endeavors and also your senior season here at Gettysburg. Thanks a lot, Tanner.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So finally, our last captain is senior forward Cody Kiefer. Cody is an environmental studies and mathematics double major. He grew up right here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Cody, just like Tanner and Pete, has been a fixture on the court during his career. He leads all current Bullets with 62 career starts. He's netted 678 points and has captured all Centennial Conference honors twice in his career, including last season when he was a second-team choice after averaging just over 11 points per game. Welcome, Cody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And one of the things that anyone who's followed Gettysburg College men's basketball would know is one thing that's been a staple is the Princeton offense. Kind of sets apart, I think, the team from others in that way. Under head coach Petrie, George Petrie has kind of been the architect of that over the years. And can you talk a little bit about what the Princeton offense is, maybe for those who might not know, and maybe also what makes it tough to defend when it works well?
Sure, yeah. So I think one of the keys to the Princeton offense is that it involves all 5 players at the exact same time. So it puts pressure on the defense for every single defensive player to know what the offense is doing, and that's a hard task. So, it's a constant moving offense, so there's a lot of options every time that you make a cut, you make a pass, you take a shot. So the defense really never knows what to expect. They can study it as much as they want, but as soon as they try to play one way to stop one part of the game, you have another option to do something else. So if they want to stop 3-point shots, we can get the ball inside. If they want to stop inside, we can get some shots. So it just has a lot of options. and it provides us with many different opportunities to score. So that puts pressure on them.
And Coach Petrie definitely has had a lot of success with it over the years. Coach Petrie, 380 wins during his tenure at Gettysburg, the most all-time in the program history. So, as mentioned, you grew up right here in Gettysburg, and your mother, I believe, is a professor here on campus.
Yep.
Can you just talk a little bit about what led you to make your decision to stay close to home and attend Gettysburg College?
Sure. So at first I never thought I would come to Gettysburg. I knew I wanted a small school, and I knew I didn't want to go too far from home, so I was looking at a lot of different Centennial schools and other D3 schools in the area. But once I went on some overnights, I kind of did some extensive searching to find the right fit, and I met the team. They were very welcoming when I came, so I got to know them really well. Just being in the area, I was able to come play with the team before I even came here, so that kind of provided me with a head start coming here, and I just think that it provided the right balance for me. I saw myself here being able to play basketball at the same time balancing academics and extracurricular activities, so it just turned out to be the best fit for me.
Well, you had a very interesting study abroad experience this past summer. You spent 8 weeks in and correct me if I'm saying this wrong, the Seychelles Islands off the east coast of Africa. Can you talk a little bit about what that involved and what that experience was like?
Yeah, sure. So I lived on an island called Curious Island, which was about a little over 1 square mile. It's about 2,000 miles off the east coast of Kenya. And so, like I said, I'm an environmental studies major, and there I was able to do some environmental conservation work. It's a marine protected area, so we worked with a lot of different terrestrial and marine animals and other species, and it was just a really good opportunity for me to get out into the fields in a really beautiful place, part of the world, and do something that I could kind of get some experience for my potential career, which is hopefully to pursue conservation work, and if that provides me with the opportunity to travel again, that would be ideal. Yeah.
It sounds amazing, and certainly something I'm sure that you'll never forget and will impact your career going forward. One last question for you, Cody. As we've been talking here, it sounds like you've had just a really well-rounded experience on and off the court. What would you say is your favorite thing about being a student athlete here at Gettysburg College?
I think the best thing about being a student athlete here, like I said, is the balance that it provides. I think Gettysburg is kind of the perfect opportunity to be able to put a lot of time into basketball, but also have a lot of time to put into academics and extracurriculars. I never feel like I'm too swayed to do one more than the other. So, I just think that overall the balance is what makes it the best.
Certainly sounds like it's worked out for the three of you. You all had some very solid experiences, and so before we signed off, I thought I would end this interview with a fun question. I think the three of you all follow the NBA pretty closely, so I just thought I would ask, if you could compare yourself to one player in the NBA, who would it be and why? Or maybe if you don't want to compare yourself, maybe there's a player you've emulated. But I'll start with you, Cody. Is there a player in the NBA you'd compare yourself to?
I don't know. It's hard to compare yourself to an NBA player, obviously, without sounding a little odd. But I've always tried to kind of be versatile, not focus too much on one thing, but try to be able to run the floor, shoot, pass, defend. So I think Scottie Pippen was a really good example of that. And I guess in my lifetime, I didn't get to watch him as much, but just from what I've heard, back in his day, he had a really good balance of personality off the court and on the court, and was able to do a lot of different things. So that's kind of one player I like to emulate.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to compare yourself to an NBA player. But I guess if we had to, I kind of try and work towards being like a Klay Thompson or a JJ Redick kind of thing, being able to come off screens, quick shoot, have the option of being able to drive to the hole, finish strong. I feel like both of those guys are really versatile at doing that kind of thing, whereas still being able to take jump shots and make moves. So.
It's a tough one. I would say just the whole versatility thing, being able to have a big man's game and stretch the floor with a shot. I think Anthony Davis rings a bell for me. So I try to emulate him as much as possible. Obviously not as good, so maybe I need the unibrow or something to play a little better, but I think I would go with Anthony Davis.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for weighing in there and again taking your time out this afternoon. And best of luck this season as you get started on Tuesday night. The Bullets are opening their season right here against York College at 7 p.m. You can also catch the Bullets next weekend when they host the 26th annual Gettysburg Tip-Off Tournament, November 18th and 19th. It's a Friday-Saturday tournament. Gettysburg takes on Delaware Valley in the first round on Friday at 6 p.m. and will face either Alvernia or Wittenberg in the consolation game or championship game next Saturday at 2 and 4 o'clock. So we thank you once again for following us here on Facebook Live. You can watch an archive of the interview on the Gettysburg Athletics Facebook page shortly after the conclusion of this interview. So have a great weekend and go Bullets.